Yeah, man. Sometimes I have to go to the airport, go sit down like Lisa Ive without a ticket, you know, and no suitcase, no passport. I watch everybody with their suitcase aboard the plane. I just most of one day I hear turn, you know.
Welcome to True Jamaica Buzz News and Entertainment with a Buzz. The video that you saw at the start of this is of a youth known as Jamie Warlord, TikToker. Popular one, surprise, surprise, surprise again. The only time I've ever heard about a lot of these TikTokers that persons say are famous is when they are done and dusted, meaning they are gone to the afterlife. Based on information, it is said that this youth was at a river in Clarendon on the border of Clarendon and Manchester. When he was rushed by a group of men, run him down and gun him down. I have the pictures, I have the videos of him laying down, police looking over the body helplessly. Based on the information, it is said that this man had some problems with some people in his community. Apparently, somebody lost their life. And after that person lost their life, fingers were pointing at him, saying that he was the one that was responsible or co-conspired to take away that person. Like you saw in the video that I showed you at the start of this, that was him at the airport trying to leave. Don't know if that video was taken coincidentally after that incident. However, there's a video that is circulating over social media with an ex-popular TikToker known as Ivani. I guess Ivani was his ex. I am going to let you listen to what Ivani had to say when this man sent her a couple of texts through a couple of social media platforms, explaining everything, the panic mode that he was in, and how he was trying to leave Jamaica ASAP. However, like most unreliable people or friends that are into themselves, don't really care, chaotic life, she did not respond until it is too late. Take a look, and then I'll give my piece.
You know, say around June, Jamie text me and say he want help with something. But you know, I had to check my message. And he said he want help with something. And been a text my TikTok. But I never see him text me until I open my message. I see so much message. So one day I text me on Instagram and said me for answer my WhatsApp. I want to have this person forget to like that, you know. So I call him on WhatsApp. And he said to me, say he want me to help him with something. But at the time I did in a one car, so it's like I did a drive. You boy in a one car. I did a drive, so it's like I could even did have certain conversation. I did a drive. So he said he want me to help him with something because somebody in his community did dead. And them are painting the picture upon him like a him kill a person. Say he want me help, but him never tell me when he want me help with if money you want me send him or I don't know what kind of or how me would help him, but hearing from how him did that talk, it's so like he did want me to send him some money for maybe fly out, go Barbados or go somewhere. I'ma tell him say when me reach home, me will call him. Anyway, me did reach home and me never did get to call him, me did must go on live or something. So it's like, he must say, him not like how me I deal with him. Because if I did somebody else, me da give person. And he not like how me I deal with him. But, and then so me never did go help Jamie. Me and Jamie used to there for almost 3 years. But by the time if I text him back on WhatsApp and I call him, he block me. He block me on WhatsApp. By the time I go back on Instagram, he block me on Instagram. And it look like he black on TikTok, so it look like he can get vexed. Because I never assist him right away or whatever, and he black on everything. And me kind of feel some type of way, and me come live and talk about it and say, why Jamie would have black me, I don't rate that. And now that me and ESM dead, me just feel like, me feel awake, can see that? Him did that text me, yo, link me now please, need your help, G. But me not check message, so me never did that see them. See then him a text me, yo, kiss me tita Joe Tim, bro, I know you can't link me back, Vani. Yo, never mind, okay, I'm good, yo, cause All if me a dead youth member. Me no read message, so me never see them a message.
Now, people, here's the thing, the danger with social media. All of these persons are always posing how much care them have, how much jewelry them have, how much time them fly out, not knowing that they are flying out because they are in a haste to leave because of problems that are behind them. So therefore, they paint a picture as if all is well, everything is okie-dory, when on the opposite side of the spectrum, they are in panic mode, they are broke as a joke. It also speaks volume about persons we are dependent on, because based on what Ivan is saying, this is one of the persons that she has been in a relationship with. And when we think about the age of Ivan, it seems as if all these people that are in trouble is always in a something with Ivan. So it tells you the type of lifestyle that she lives. Again, people, a very tragic situation. An ex-TikToker losing his life because he's out here living a double life, meaning that he's on social media looking very jovial. However, he has a checkered or troubled past or present, and that past or present sent him to the afterlife. Such is the case in this case, point blank and period.
The Jamaica Constabulary Force has once again sought to clarify its position on the use of body-worn cameras following what it describes as misleading reports in some sections of the media. The High Command says it has always been committed to the full rollout of devices, pointing out that it has even disclosed budgetary and operational details that are normally kept confidential for national security reasons. The JCF says it is in the process of acquiring an additional 1,000 cameras, but explains that procurement is a lengthy and complex undertaking. It argues that the limited deployment of cameras so far is not due to resistance, but to the financial and logistical realities of equipping more than 8,000 frontline officers. The force also rejected suggestions that it is being pressured into action, insisting that operational decisions will not be dictated by advocacy groups such as Jamaicans for Justice or the Independent Commission of Investigations. But the JCF says it remains open to dialogue grounded in facts rather than assumptions. At the same time, the JCF agreed with both Indicom and JFJ that the number of fatal police shootings is too high. The force outlined three possible approaches to addressing the problem: reduce police operations, which it says is not an option, appeal to criminals to stop using deadly force against officers, and thoroughly investigate all fatal encounters while holding officers accountable where wrongdoing is found. The High Command noted that most Indicom investigations have cleared officers of misconduct, but reaffirmed its support for accountability and transparency. The JCF insists this is a posture of a force committed to modernization, not one resisting change.
So the next thing that is popping in the news is that we see that the JCF is doing damage control again. The JCF is giving clarification as to why, based on a recent spike in extrajudicial controversial takeaway of the police, 130 something this time of the year last year versus 230 something. 77% increase in controversial takeaway by the JCF. Now, when you listen to what the JCF is saying, remember they had over a couple of hundred body cameras that they've gotten from grants or gifts from other police group all over the place, UK, America, and they said they returned them because the logistics or the platform wasn't made to connect them, so therefore, and they were not appropriate for the uniform. Now, people, the makers of these body cameras make sure that they are universal. That means that them can use anywhere, anytime, anyhow. However, we see that the JCF has been given all sorts of excuses. So now they are claiming that it is not because of the pressure of Indicom, JFJ, Stand Up Jamaica, and bloggers like myself. It is because it is a part of the procurement process, meaning that that is how long it takes to get it right, and they want to get it right. Well, people, the truth and the fact is that it is a very simple procedure, And like they've always said, desperate times calls for desperate measure. And we see that this thing is getting out of hand, not just based on what Indicom is saying, but based on the facts that are out there, meaning the statistics. So the facts are these: extrajudicial takeaway have been rampant. As a matter of fact, the day in which 22-year-old Mr. Ferguson lost his life in Cherry Tree Lane, there are at least 4 extrajudicial takeaway in about 24 hours. Well, I'm not going to say I am speaking about controversial police takeaway. Now, since the JCF has been getting a backlash, they did an interview and they showed a body camera that has a light like a red neon light. I'm not going to say neon, a bright red light around it that kept flashing. And this is their defense as to why they are not using the body camera, because while they want transparency, they also want their officers to be safe. I want you to take a look to an interview, and then I'll give my piece.
CVM News has acquired actual video of the device the police are shying away from using. Those under attack point to a glaring problem, a small red blinking light. While intended to signal transparency, officers say it could be a deadly giveaway, especially during nighttime raids in densely populated areas like tenement yards. The light, they argue, acts as a beacon in low light conditions, exposing their position and placing a target squarely on their chest. CVM News was informed that most tactical entries happen under the cover of darkness. But as this video shows, from a criminal's perspective, the blinking light could be the only thing they need to aim at. And as the debate continues, some demand answers around the matter: accountability versus officer safety. For those on the front lines, the stakes couldn't be higher. But again, the question surfaces: what's the true cost of transparency among?
Now, people, there's a saying that goes something like this: life is not about telling the truth, but putting up your best defense. Because the truth and the fact is that none of these cameras that the JSF was gifted by other government agency international did not have this red light. The JSF did not acquire any of these body cameras that have this red light. This body camera would not be used on special operation, meaning that they are going in stealth, because obviously that would be a DEAD giveaway. DEAD being the operative word. However, like I said, they are making all sorts of excuses, and this is one of them. That body camera that you see is probably going to be used by security, maybe working in the mall. This would not be applicable or apply appropriately to JCF officers that are going on special operation. So why would they even use this? It makes absolutely no sorts of sense. However, whenever you have no defense, you will draw for just about anything. Like them say, a drowning man will clutch at a straw. And the JCF is clutching right now, desperately, point blank, and period.
Just that matter. Side and get shot in up. Get shot my side too. Yeah, you get shot my mouth too, man. But you get shot my side too, that's where.
So the next thing that is popping in the news, based off the video that I just showed you at the start of this section, is of a man known as Drastic that once resided in a place known as Bambo. Bambo is in St. Anne. Drastic lost his life. When Drastic lost his life, it is said that the persons that took him out, the killers, one is known as Paki and one is known as Ruby. And they come from a place known as Littlefield, which is in St. Anne. They took away this man. It is also said that they were responsible for taking away a next man. The police is saying that they are looking for Paki. I told you that Paki and a next man known as Ruby were the persons who are said to be the shooters or conspired to take away Drastic and take away a man maybe about a month or so ago. So we see that the community that is usually peaceful, for the lack of a better word, community, is now in panic mode because them I said, then hold on a minute. All the players are real up, all the players get hot like the sun, like that. I want you to take a listen, take a look at exactly what the SSP for the era, his name is Carlos Russell, had to say and what they are doing and who is wanted, who is in custody. Take a listen, take a look, and then I'll give my piece.
So, in the last month or so, we'd have had 2 murders in the bamboo space. As you know, bamboo is traditionally a very quiet community, a farming district. So the citizens are very uneasy at this time. So this evening, I would have come out with my management team and other stakeholders to do a walkthrough through the community to reassure the residents and let them know that we are doing all our best to ensure normalcy in this community. Is Clifton Brown, OC Packy. We're asking him to turn himself in to the police as soon as possible. And we'll continue to look for him. So if he doesn't come in, we just assure him that we will find him. So we're just asking him to come in as soon as possible.
Now, people, if you look on the screen, the screenshots of the incident that I spoke about maybe about a couple of weeks ago when the first killing took place and then the second killing took place. I told you who the perpetrators are. I told you who the suspects were, meaning Ruby and meaning Packy. And now you hear the police confirming that they are looking for Packy, and Packy needs to give in himself before them pack him up and send him to the afterlife. Point blank and period. So the next thing that is popping in the news, there are a couple of sayings that go something like this. A wise man learns from his mistake, a wiser man learns from the mistakes of others. The next one, don't build anything on a bad foundation. If you build something on a bad foundation, that foundation is going to break away. However, in this case, the foundation might have been good. However, some changes were made and they could not adjust to those changes. I am speaking about an incident or a couple of incidents twice that happened at a place known as Trafalgar Park. This is the place in which they had a whole bunch of rain and the place got flooded out. One specific lady, her whole house was mashed up, all sorts of mud, water. It looked like a swamp in her house. She even said she had to run to the neighbor to seek refuge. The neighbor also had to run to seek refuge. Well, people, she did the cleaning up process. Fast forward about a week or so later, and the same thing happened again. Her place flooded out after she had replaced all of the appliances, everything that was damaged. The same thing happened over and over again. I am going to let that lady explain everything to you in intricate details, and then I am going to give my piece.
So this mash up Friday, I'm going to fix it. The man come, charge, me have the receipt, 87,000 for fix back that I'm buy, that I put back the fridge, it gone again. Hot water, gone again. The pay for fix back the washing machine so I can wash, so I can save, gone again. It was livable what they did to me. It was livable. All the debris was gone and everything. And it was the two people, two parties. He says, lady in the rain, me a flood out. And when I got up, I stepped in a pool of water off the bed. And then when I came out in the living room here and everywhere was flooded. Water was just rushing. When I looked in the water, hey, may I tell you, it was whoosh, like before, it was just water was just rushing. Even when the rain stopped, the water still a come. I wonder, but the rain had fallen, but the water is still coming. It was awful. And it was very, very scary. Very. Just imagine wake up and when you step down, you step in the water. It was really bad. It was really, really bad last night. We called a friend to call the police. The police called us back. They asked who and who is here. We gave them all the information. And until now, the police haven't come.
So people, like I said, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. Once those conditions that apply did not change, the same thing more than likely was going to happen. So in other words, once it starts for rain, once the drains start for flood, and once that place is at below sea level or on an decline, meaning that it is in a lower part of the place, The water from off of the hill, off of the mountain, from other places that are higher elevation are going to run down in her place, and such is the case. Until the apartment complex in which she claims is causing the problem, since it has been built and then put up a big wall, and then that turns the water or leads the water into her property. Until that changes and the proper infrastructure, meaning drainage, is put into place. So the moral of the story is that unless the conditions change, unless there is no rain, unless those wall that is blocking the property, meaning the apartment complex, has changed, unless there's drainage, unless there is no source of water coming out of the drainage, then more than likely she's going to have the same thing. So it's either she's going to move or get those problems rectified. Until then, until the place gets dry, she is going to continue to have the same problems. Point blank and period. So the next thing that is popping in the news, it is becoming more and more obvious that these gunmen, these hittists, are getting more bad, bold, and brazen. And this is based on an incident that took place in a place known as Denham Town, Oxford Road to be specific, St. Andrew. Based on information, it is said that at about 4, a lady known as Malata that sells phone card. A man pull up in her vehicle and the community asks her, "Where is the lady that sells the phone card?" Obviously, people probably think that it is business, so they directed the man in the vehicle to that lady. He then followed the instruction, went over to the yard, over to the house, called her out. She came out of the house. She was given rapid con. It is said that residents heard loud explosion and they saw the man, a stranger, running from out of the yard, running to his vehicle. They shouted, "Hold him, hold him, hold him." Obviously, if somebody saw somebody with some sort of tool shooting up somebody, nobody's going to say that, unless, of course, in some volatile community, the people that were on guard were on guard. However, it seems as if they were caught off guard. She was blazed up, rushed to the hospital. Too late was the call. The man take for himself. So we see that the police is doing their investigation, but people, the truth and the fact is that most investigations in Jamaica, once the criminal, the hittists, run from the scene of the crime, more than likely it is going to be a closed case, even though that person might get closed casket. Moral of the story is that people are so brave and brazen that they would leave their community, go into a volatile community, hit up somebody that is well known, take for themselves right in front of the people in a broad daylight. Jamaica really gone to the dog, and this is yet an perfect example, point blank and period. So anyways, people, thanks once again for checking out my video. If you appreciate videos like these, please show your appreciation by liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing to my channel. That is how YouTube promotes videos like these to like-minded, sensible persons like yourself. Bless up.